Hole 13, a fabulous par 4 on our golf course because it teaches us so many things. Let's have a look. Tee shot strategy. So it is, of course, a situation where a tee box aims into a direction where the fairway isn't aiming. So many people get that wrong. They just aim into the direction the tee box is aiming, and that gets them into the wrong spot. So if the tee boxes aim there, then people aim there and they are in the left. So quite often a golf course architect is using areas to place the tee boxes in a way so the golfer then has to play into a different direction. So those who are not careful, they will aim into the wrong direction, and we have runouts on the left side that create some kind of unplayable lie or difficult lie, and just being able to hack them out is the only solution after that. Tee shot strategies is big and huge on this hole. We love it. The quiet mental state is also when we are standing in front of a water hazard or a penalty area. Sometimes people are overreacting. And if we then say, well, that's only 60 meters, the lady goes like, oh, it's only 60. Oh, I could go over there with a 7-iron. As it passed, a lot passed. And if you take the driver, it's not really a problem. So just focus on a normal good swing and it'll be easy to get over. So sometimes people are creating problems when there are no problems, and we try and talk about these issues so people can have a quiet mental state, and they practice that. So during the strike, there's not a lot of happening in the brain. There's not a lot of activity going on. That helps usually a lot. The next, shots around trees. We have a few situations where we can kind of like practice the greens over here. So golfers have to play across the fairway. So that golfer has to play this way. And the question is always, well, where do you want to hit it? And they go like, well, I want to hit it here. Why do you want to hit it there? Because to the left, there is the ball is lost. Long, the ball's in the bunker. To the right, the ball's in the bunker. Oh, yeah, well, then it's probably better I hit it here. Yeah, it is better to hit it there. So that means the landing spot has to be here, so it stops there. So there's always a kind of mental procedure that we do with golfers, especially with the golfers that are not yet fully developed, that so they understand what has to happen during a round of golf when certain situations come up that allow for variation of a plan. And if your plan is wrong, then oh, let's change it and let's adapt it. And then sometimes I let them play, I let them hit the shot, and more often than not, they end up in trouble. That's why it is actually quite good to talk about across fairway shots, what you have to do, what you have to be able to spot. So recognize problem zones is the next thing. It's just being able to realize that there is a trouble zone on the left, and if I'm aiming left, I'm in there. To the right is not so much a problem because the forest here is quite far forward. That's like 200 something meter, so they usually don't get it in there. But then the second shot is usually being played from somewhere around here. So then the golfer has to decide, do I lay it up into that area, or do I try and go for the green directly, which usually for better players isn't a problem, but for higher handicappers it is a problem, and we sometimes end up laying up. And then they have to know, how do we get that distance, that layup distance? How do I find how far away we are? Because I don't want to go into semi. I want to stay on the fairway. If I can stay on the fairway, my shot is easier. If I'm in the semi in the first cut, it's going to be more difficult. So getting those distances is important, and realizing that there is ways of doing that, either with the app or with the yardage book that we have. You can either get these distances. So the next is fairway bunker shots. I have that as a fairway bunker because the bunker literally is like 40-50 meters away from the flag. And for me, that's kind of like a fairway bunker. It's not a greenside bunker. It's a long greenside bunker or a fairway bunker. And the 50-60 meter shot is literally the most difficult one. So we say it's supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be easy. That's the point. Everybody wants a price, but nobody wants to pay the price. So we have to find out how we can create a mindset so difficult situations aren't becoming a mental hazard. They're not, so the emotions don't kick in and make the whole learning process more difficult. That sometimes happens with golfers. And so we have chip shots and pitch shots around the green. Obviously, there is loads of possibilities around the green to actually hit a few shots, either over the bunker or short-sided from there, and chip them up with a 9-iron or with an 8-iron, chip them for a long flag. All fun games that we do. Then I have how to practice sand play. It is the same situation as always, that when we do a game, it's always with the target of counting and comparing to the last 2 or 3 times that we did it. This is the German version. Please excuse me. So if I'm going through with you that quickly, we have 10 bunker shots from different lies. Okay, we have the distance, which is 8 meters, 16 meters, and we have a score. The score obviously comes from the goal. If you're a handicap 54, your goal is 6 out of 10 balls should be with 1 shot on the green. If you're handicap 24, or between 55 and 35, or 36 and 24, your goal is 6 out of 10 should be on the green. And then the next one should be middle distance from hole is about 8 meters. So if you have 5 shots and there are in the middle around 8 meters, then you get your points for that. And then so you have different targets for golfers, and then you get points if you are fulfilling this target. So if 6 out of 10 are out of the bunker with 1 shot, or if 6 out of 10 are on the green with 1 shot, that's when you get your points. And your point system can be 2 points or 3 points, whatever you want to do. You can set up a point system for yourself where you go like, okay, every time I fulfill that, I get 5 points, or I get 10 points, or I get the amount of points of the balls that I actually get out and into that situation. So if I have 4, then I'll get 4 points. I can write from 8 meters, I had 4 points. Then I can also summarize the distance between the hole and the ball. So I can measure the distance, and then every time I measure the distance, I get a median distance from the hole. So I can do that by foot or by meters. And that median distance gives you a bit of an overview. How far away was I in those 10 shots, and then you can compare it with your next time. So when you have score, then you have, every time you have a different score, you add the score, so you get a certain score, and then you add the score, 70 points. So you can kind of like score these points, or measure these points, and over time you see how you compare, and you have a championship team partner score. So your friends can then say how many points did they have. They can do the same game. It becomes more of a bit of a challenge, which then makes it more fun and more golf course like. Again, I think it's important to realize that if your practice is never testing you with the first ball, then you don't really practice. So you only have 1 shot on the golf course. So your practice also has to have points. It has to have consequences. Otherwise, you are going to practice something different than tournament golf is going to be. And you want to practice as much as you can in these situations that you're going to be in when you go and practice. Just one little thing, which is how to correct the pitch mark on the green. It's really important that you don't push up, but you push against it. So the ball came from this direction, push the grass into this direction, you push it back again into this direction. Don't lift it up, because if you lift it up, this is going to happen. We're going to see a brown spot. Now you're pushing up the turf from underneath, and the roots are on top. They're supposed to be down, and we should have a green area and not a brown area. So that's why push it back, please. Always push it back. Don't push it up and have the turf area coming up. We don't want that to come up. Otherwise, we'll have the brown spot. All right. Okay, that's hole 13.